and welcome to Maverick Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Kurtis here.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
How are you doing? You had a good week?
Yeah, it was good. It's been pretty busy this week, to be fair. So
A lot of calls, a lot of meetings.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's getting very confident with obviously football being on, Wimbledon on, so the world's almost returning back to normal. Things are opening up. People are looking to invest and upskill. So been a very bit, yeah.
Their business growing away from what's happened. I think as soon as you mention anything to do with what's happened in the last 2 years, people are like, oh no, we want to move on. Everyone wants to move on and just like keep going on. So today we're talking about something which is pretty much a bog standard thing when it comes to when you want to sell anything, you want to grow your business, and it's getting people to trust you or building trust as a brand, as I've got it as all these titles here. Because a lot of people don't trust brands. Like we tell people that they want to sell to people because people, buy from people themselves. If we were doing any business to business, you wouldn't just go to a company and go, oh, thank you, QuickFit. I will, you won't do a transaction that way. You talk to the manager director, or you talk to the sales director, or the business growth specialist market man. You would talk to a person about it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just talk to a company. But you still want to know that you can trust and value what that business does and the service they provide. So what we're going to be talking about is the first point, consistent messaging.
Yeah. So it's important to have consistent messaging. So especially if you bring it to what we do on LinkedIn, you've got to have a clear and consistent message because people can easily forget you on LinkedIn. So if you're changing your message all the time, one, you're going to hit different people, so you're not going to get your targeting right. And secondly, the people that are following are going to get confused. They're going to misunderstand what you're saying, misunderstand what you offer. So it's important to be consistent because that gets your value proposition over as well.
If you're an entrepreneur with multiple businesses, you kind of need to focus on one during LinkedIn, because if you contact someone about selling one service and then you do another message campaign with another service, they're going to be very confused about what it is you actually provide.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel it's like one of those things where when you feel that someone focuses on too many things, you think, how can they be very good at one thing?
Yeah.
So essentially, if you are doing those campaigns, or if you are an entrepreneur or co-founder of many businesses, have like week intervals where you go, all right, 1 week I'll focus on Maverick stuff. Second week I'll focus on Maverick 2 stuff.
Yeah.
Just so at least when people see your content over the next couple of days, they get, all right, that's what they do. That's the credibility that they offer. And then you change. So they get a clear understanding of where the boundary is, not like, oh, well, he's talking about this thing here, and then he's talking about another service. Does he just do everything, or is it?
So what is it? Like, what does this guy actually do? Or maybe he's just trying to, give a little bit of everything because he's just scrambling for business. Because they can kind of feel a bit like, sporadic, like you're just shooting stuff out there. So if your message isn't, full of what your service provides, your solutions, and your content isn't refined that way, it can just feel a little bit of, scattered, can't it?
Yeah, totally. And it's back to what you said before, where it's good having a good trust behind your brand, but at the end of the day, people buy from people.
Yeah.
So when you use your content, it's there to build credibility and trust. Because I think someone said, if they like you, they will listen to you, but if they trust you, then they'll buy from you.
Exactly.
So you just have to use your content and be consistent with your message to earn that trust.
The next point is communication all the way through. So you want to make sure that if anything does go wrong, or it's pretty much customer service in a sense, but you could say customer service is more of a transactional thing. If you're doing business-to-business work with someone, you need to make sure the communication is there throughout. So if anything is picked up, it needs to be communicated straight away. If you're changing anything, it needs to be communicated straight away. You need to have that consistent messaging like throughout it, which is you need to continuously talk to these people, update them, ask them about, their business and what the value you're getting. Ask for feedback, A lot of the time we'll be afraid to say, oh, can you review this, or tell me how this is going, because they're afraid of the answer. But you need to have like two-way communication, because it builds trust and it shows that you care about, the service you're providing.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right with that. So there'll be tons of people where they'll take on projects, they'll blast all of the work, and then they'll either move on to the next or just keep going. But actually, it's the little things that really matter. So even asking for results, because if you don't know the results, how do you know what trajectory, like if you're going up, or if you're going down, or if you're just plateauing without results? So like on the dashboard on LinkedIn, we always talk about checking out that dashboard, which a lot of people forget, because that tells us what we're doing and where we're aiming. So
it's all about analytics. It's the profile views and it's the content views, and it shows who's actually, watching, who's actually like seeing your profile.
Yeah, exactly. So like without results, you're just guessing, or to be fair, you could be going backwards, which is one thing. So you're totally right about that. In regards to communication as well, like I said, it is the little effort. So even if you think, they've said yes to something before similar to this, it's still good to just double check and get those bits of information and get everything sealed tight. So
if you take another look at it, if you're looking at like emails with like deliveries, say you've gone to a new website and you bought something from there, and they go, oh, thank you for buying this. You get that email. Oh, cool. And there's, oh, we've just shipped it. Here's your tracking information. Okay. And then you do a follow-up of, oh, did you enjoy this? You know, the companies who do that, I feel are a lot more trusted because they're keeping the person who's purchased this from the website updated throughout. And you can do the same in your business. You can do the same in your service and be like, look, just a follow-up email to say how things going. You know, those little bits, those little steps, just add a little bit more to it. Whereas if you're a company where you've bought something from a website, you get no confirmation email, or it's gone into your spam folder, no shipping information whatsoever, and it's probably been weeks. You know, it doesn't instill trust. You wouldn't go with that company or that website ever again because there was no communication.
Yeah, because people at the end of the day, when they go for you, they're going for you because at the first instance, they're trusting you to do a good job. Yeah. So with all that stuff as well, doing these like messages, so like when you order something and they give you all these tracking numbers, it's the stress that it takes off your shoulders. Yeah. Because they're keeping up to date, well, keeping you up to date with every little step. So you don't have to check up on them. You don't have to go, oh, where's my package, or think, do I have to do a next step?
Yeah, they trust you to get the job done.
Exactly. So they're keeping the picture very clear. So you almost just do your order and you almost sit back and relax, and it's with you within however long they say, basically.
Yeah. So my last point is desperation. So if you're desperately trying to get this business or someone on a call, and you know you've said, oh, let's jump on a call, and they said nothing, and you go, oh, did you get this message? And then those messages continue to build up. You kind of sound a little bit desperate. Desperation doesn't breed good business or a good sales approach, mainly due to the fact that if you're that desperate, your business is struggling. Why is it struggling? That means it can't be that good. There's a lot of connotations that go along with desperation. And I feel like if you want to build trust, you need to make sure that they can't smell desperation in the water.
Yeah. So good ways to avoid that really are, if you have a strategy to build good relationships with people, then you won't really need too many follow-up messages, because they would have built that trust with you where on the call, if you find out enough information about them, you'll know where they're struggling with and what service you can actually benefit them. So they may even tell you that they may have budget issues for this for the moment, and it might be something that will be handled next quarter, or they might have internal staff issues. Yeah. But you can't get that without talking to them. So you need to find that information. So therefore, when you do send up your follow-ups or your proposals, you know the clear picture of where that specific person is, because there will always be some people that will, if they're sorting something out on the side, they won't email you until they're ready. So like there'll always be people like that. But then it makes other people stressed. So I'm always one of those people, even if I'm not going for a service, I will keep them updated and say, oh, by the way, we're having this meeting next quarter or stuff like that, just so they know. But there'll always be people like that. So you can't dwell too much and start being too desperate and start turning them against you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like keeping your cool, remain consistent at what you do, remain consistent on your LinkedIn, your messaging, because at the end of the day, if you're always there and you're top of mind, you're always going to be top of mind to them. So even without directly contacting them, they'll be seeing you everywhere, and then they'll go, oh, actually, I need to sort that, because everyone at the moment is busy. So
if they're fresh in their minds constantly, they'll be like, okay, I want to work with this person because I see them all the time, I like their stuff, which is another big point actually. If your stuff is poorly designed or written, that can also be a big factor. So you need to make sure you're refining that as well. But yeah, if they keep seeing you and you keep popping up, you know what they're talking about, they'll start to generate that, that unconscious bias that we talk about, like content bias. So, I've got a problem with this one thing. I know who solved that issue because I see them all the time talking about it and how they can solve it. And then that's how you develop that trust with them, because they're like, I know this person because they're always talking about it. Yeah. It's like we talk about whenever you've got something wrong with your car, you go to your mechanic. I mean, before you even go to them, you might talk to a friend who's really into cars because they always talk about it. It's that sort of thing. It's that referral sort of scenario.
Yeah. So it's literally just always, because it's so easy to be done on LinkedIn as well. You can be seen as the industry leader to whoever target client you're doing, because as we know, I'm sure everyone's seen with the presentations we've done, there's a problem with LinkedIn because people are struggling to post content. There's only a small percentage doing it, and then there's even a smaller percentage that do it right. Yeah. So if you do it right, you're always going to be the industry leader. But
I mean, 2 years ago it was 4%. Yeah. Now it could have gone up and been 6%. But if you think about the millions of people on that platform,
it's tiny, isn't it?
It's a very small number. Yeah.
And then as we see every day, and like because of the people we review, the ones that do produce content, there's probably about another 50% of them doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like sharing content, not getting the visibility, getting the 1 to 50 views. So it's being consistent there, but a big part is talking and owning that relationship with that client. So at least they're transparent with you, and they'll say, oh, by the way, I probably won't be able to get back to this proposal within a month because we've got staff meetings, we've got budget reviews.
Yeah.
So at least you know all of that straight away.
And developing this trust with the person is also at the same time developing trust as the brand as a whole, because being the front of the brand, the person's always the front of the brand. When they associate you talking to you, Kurtis, or associate with Maverick. If it's talking with me or Dean, it's Maverick behind it. So building and developing trust for the person will build and develop trust for the brand itself.
Yeah, completely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming down, Kurtis.
Well, thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching Maverick Live. We'll be back for our next show. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels and subscribe to us on YouTube for our next live show.